Hello everybody, welcome to Laura's Topics. Today is Q&A all about kitchen tools. Now a few days ago, the very first episode of Laura's Topics came up, and first of all I want to just thank all of you for your incredible support, and you're all so encouraging, and thank you for coming along with me on this new journey. Okay, enough jibber jabbering, let's get to it. Now, to show you exactly how everything works and to answer the questions that were about the first episode, I need to get into the kitchen to show you exactly what you want to see. So let's do it. Now you want tools, I'm bringing you tools. Okay, let's get into it. First of all, I'm really sorry if I butcher your names. A lot of them I kind of can't pronounce well, but just bear with me. The first question comes from Ida Hama, and the question was kitchen must-have basics. The must-have basics are, of course, a good set of knives. You're gonna need some cutting boards. I always use a wooden cutting board for my veggies. You want to use a plastic cutting board for all your meats and poultry for sanitary reasons, and I use a small little plastic board for fruits, just so that if I don't cut it on the same cutting board as the veggies, and my fruit doesn't taste like onions, you know. So really important. Cutting boards, huge must. Knives, again, a huge must. You must have a good set of baking sheets and all. You can buy a set just like this, and it'll come with your basics, such as a cookie sheet, a cupcake tin, a 13 by 9, a 9 by 9, and 9-inch cake pans. Those are your basics. If you want to, if you make pies a lot, get yourself a glass little Pyrex dish, $5, you're good to go. Standard. You're gonna need some measuring cups. These are for liquid measurements, and then you're gonna need some for like dry measurements. So there's two different things. Here's a plastic cheapy one that was 99 cents. Here's a bigger one that's probably about $5. If you don't want to bother with a food processor, you can just get one of these big graters. You can grate everything in here that a food processor does. Much cheaper, takes up less space. Now, these are your must-have tools as far as cooking and stirring and all that. You're gonna need a couple of whisks. You're gonna need a wooden spoon, always helpful. Some spatulas. This is a heat-proof spatula, and this is just a regular spatula. Some measuring spoons, a pastry brush, and my very favorite, a microplane little zester. You can grate cheese with this, nutmeg, lemon zest, you name it. Very fine and great, which is why I absolutely love it. You're gonna need a good set of pots and pans. Now, get yourself a favor, invest in a good set of pots and pans. You will have them for years. This is my Analon Nouvelle copper set. Absolutely love it, non-stick all the way. Love this. Get yourself a good set, you're in business. That is your kitchen must-haves for creating awesome meals in no time. So there you go. Second question comes from Jocelyn64. Which is better, a stand mixer or a handheld mixer? Mixer. Sorry, I don't understand the question very well. Apparently I can't read today. It depends. A handheld mixer works fine if you're not baking a whole lot, you're not making big batches of things. A big standing mixer is great if you're doing lots of dough that you need to knead for a long period of time. I would stick with a standing mixer, but if you don't do a whole lot of baking, a handheld mixer works just fine. Question from the Katie Lane. Should I invest in a KitchenAid mixer, or would a less expensive one would be just as good? Do yourself a favor, sweetheart. Spend the extra $50 and get a KitchenAid mixer. You will never look back. KitchenAid has been making mixers for a very long time. They're very high quality. A bit pricey, I get that, but you're gonna have it for a long. I've had mine for almost 10 years. It's never broken. I love the attachment. If you're missing a piece, you can go to any store and get it. I absolutely love it. So there you go. Spend an extra few bucks and get yourself a KitchenAid. You won't look back. Okay, next question comes from 143 Music Monkey. Good name. What's more efficient, a mechanical can opener or a handheld one? I hate gimmicky things. I will never own a mechanical can opener. Just use a handheld one. Next one comes from Lady Yen 22. What are the must-have pots for your kitchen? Easy. You're gonna need a big soup pot. You're gonna need a couple small skillets. This is a small one. This is about a 9-inch skillet. Tiny little saucepan to heat up milk, whatever. A larger saucepan, and then you're gonna need a non-stick pan just like this. It's got high sides. You can make your sauce in there. You can saute your chicken. You can do everything in that pan. That is my go-to pan. So those are your must-have pots. Okay, next question from Rashkacho. The different knives and how to use specific for cutting. Blah, 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 knife for poultry, what kind of knives for vegetable chopping, fine slicing, how to maintain the life of a knife. Now, a lot of these topics are going to overlap. I'm going to have a topic specifically on knives and how to use them, different ways of using them, which one does for cutting and slicing and mincing and you name it. But just as an all-around, this is the #1 knife that I always go to. This is my chef's knife. It is an all-purpose knife and I adore it. You will find on Laura's topics that I will do a topic just on knives, so stick around for that one. Okay. Candy asked, why can't we use a blender instead of a food processor? Two different purposes. A blender is not going to do the same thing that a food processor does. You can make dough in a food processor. You can't make dough in a blender. You can make smoothie in a blender, but it doesn't work the same. What happens is the blender needs a lot of liquid because it's like this, right? A food processor is nice and wide, the blade's nice and big, so it works a lot. They do two different things. Let's just put it that way. So, a blender for your smoothies and a food processor for your chopping, your dough making, you name it. Two different things. Okay. In Lux Saturna asked, I was wondering about microplanes, at least that's what they're called. For zesting, is it worth investing in one or does small grater work just as well? One of the best investments I ever made is a microplane. I love it. I've never looked back. They're like $10. It's definitely worth investing in. Love it. Okay. Next question comes from Semi Eduardo 1. I love this. Do you think using a mezzaluna like Nigella for chopping is better than a knife? No one's a bigger Nigella fan than I am. I adore her. Okay, if I could marry her, I probably would. She's my favorite. However, the mezzaluna is just not my kind of tool. You can really only chop herbs with it. And I need a tool that does it all. And for me, a chef's knife is a knife I go to. I don't use a mezzaluna. I think it's a little bit of a waste, really. It's big and bulky. You can't really store it well. I say, forget the mezzaluna. Just use a good knife. Next question. Moonlight Angel 90 asked, when do you replace your pots and pans? Because I have pans I've been using for 5 to 10 years ago. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If your pots and pans are perfectly fine, there's nothing wrong with them, don't replace them. My mother's had the same pots and pans since I was born. She takes care of things really, really well, better than I do. So again, if they're in great shape, keep them. Okay, next one comes from Newburns. Is KitchenAid the best brand to use? I want your honest opinion. I'll be sure to do extra research before I spend the money. Absolutely. I love my KitchenAid. Again, I've had it for 10 years. Never had a problem with it. If something breaks in it, the great thing about it is KitchenAid is everywhere. And they're going to be, the part that you need, it's going to be found somewhere. So invest in the money. Get yourself a KitchenAid. It's awesome. Big Sis 5970. They asked non-stick or stainless steel pans. To each his own. I'm all about non-stick. I'm an accident prone. I would burn everything if it wasn't non-stick. I'm all about non-stick. Next question comes from Mommy Making Home. Her name's Jessica. She asked, Laura, I'd love to get your opinion on bread makers, from stand mixers with kneading attachments to bread machines. I really want to start making homemade bread. Where should I start? I don't have a bread maker. I think it's a gimmicky thing. I don't think you need it. Get a good mixer with a dough attachment to it and use that to make your dough for your bread. If you're going to spend the money, spend it on a mixer, not on a bread maker that you can just use for one thing. Remember that. Okay. Next question comes from my Eric Bana. They asked, is a wood cutting board a tool? What is the best way to clean a wood cutting board? I use soap and bleach solution to clean and use a nylon scrubber. Will end up wearing down the cutting board sooner. Well, here's how I clean it. As soon as you're done using it, you must do it right away. I use some soapy water and scrub it on with really hot, well not hot, but really warm water and clean it really, really fast. You don't want any of the soap to absorb into the wood. So again, really, really fast, really, really hot, you're good to go. Dry it out before you put it anywhere. That's it. Last question comes from Sailor Person. They asked, what are some kitchen tools that can be used to replace other tools? Very easy. Some kitchen tools are your basic. A knife, a whisk, a bowl, a wooden spoon, and a grater is going to do the job of a mixer with a paddle attachment, a whisk attachment, or even a food processor. A good knife is going to do great chopping just like a food processor would. A good whisk, a spatula, a wooden spoon, and a bowl is going to do all your work for any kind of dough or batter that you possibly would need to do with a standing mixer. So have those tools on hand. You can make absolutely anything you want with it, and it's going to be cheap, fast, easy storage, no worry about it. Those are going to be your solution to the fancy stuff. That's it. All right, so there you have it. I hope I've helped you out. I hope I've answered the questions that you guys have you know, all of you guys were amazing. Such great questions. And now, just so you know, just because you didn't have your specific question answered, don't worry. There's going to be tons of topics coming along, and some of these are going to overlap. So don't worry, you're going to get your moment. Stay with me. There's lots coming up, and I'm really excited to bring you guys everything you want to see. So just I want to do a quick couple shout outs to a couple people, and I know didn't ask a specific question. First of all you guys are awesome. All your questions were great, and I've gotten so much support. I can't thank you enough for it. But a couple people, one of them is Apatili. Again, love, I'm really sorry if I'm butchering your names. I'm the worst when it comes to saying things I can't really spell. Sorry, can't really pronounce. But anyway, a big, huge thank you for your sweet, sweet comment. Made me laugh quite a bit. So, Apatili, thank you very much, love. And another one to this, I'm going to butcher, and I'm sorry. Andres Kabushk. Sorry, sweetie, but you are really, really sweet. Thank you so much for your wonderful comments on this channel and, of course, on Laura in the Kitchen. So, okay, I'll see you in a few days with the next topic. Stay tuned. Bye-bye.